Greetings, this is Maxo Diddley here, and today I am here with another C# tutorial to help you get an A in your coursework or exam. And today we're here with validating the length or size of a file. So you've got an application, it allows users to upload profile pictures, and you don't want that profile picture to be greater than 1 megabyte or smaller than 100 kilobytes. This program's going to allow for that. So let's get right into it. Firstly, import system and system.io, as we'll be needing those. And now let's look at our main method. We have string file path equals mean profile pic.png, and then we have console.writeLine, check file size, file path, and 300. File path is our file, and 300 is the size in kilobytes. That is the maximum size of the file we want. Then we have read key because we don't want the console application to close straight away. So let's get into defining our function. So you might be thinking, Max, why have we got two functions with the same name? And I'll respond to that by saying, we are overloading these functions. So overloading is basically where we can have multiple functions in the same scope with the same name as long as the parameters are different, and by different I mean the order of the type of parameters. Now let's get into validating the file size. Public static bool, it's going to return a boolean. Check file size is the name, string file path is the file we want to check, long max size is the maximum size we want the file to be. You might be thinking, Max, why are we using a long? We're using a long because if you are checking giant files, you might go over the 32-bit integer limit that an int would have. And we can use a long, which is a 64-bit integer, or just a bigger int, to keep it simple, so it can store bigger numbers. So we don't encounter this problem. That's the super basics. I glossed over many other details because this is a check-in size tutorial, not a what is a long tutorial. There's probably also a penis joke I could make in there somewhere. The first thing we want to do is we want to do if file doesn't exist file path. And what we're doing here is we're going to check if the file doesn't exist. If the file doesn't exist, return false. File path is referencing the file path of the file we want to validate. So if that file doesn't exist, no point checking the length because it doesn't exist. So we return false. After that, we're going to do a try catch statement. So you want to do a try catch exception E, and in the catch code, put a return false. If something goes wrong with getting the length of the file for whatever reason, return a false. Otherwise, in the try statement, we're going to do long length equals new system.io.fileinfo file path dot length divided by 1024. So by default, this is going to give you the length in bytes. We don't want that. Like, if you want that, that's cool, but I'm going to change it to kilobytes. You can go from a byte to a kilobyte. We can divide by 1024, basically. Again, you can change this to be megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, whatever you want. We're doing kilobytes. So this line of code is just going to get the length or size of the file in kilobytes and assign it to our long variable called length. Then we can do return length less than max size. This is a basic length check. Is the length less than the maximum size we allow for a file? If it is, return true. If it's not, return false. And that's it for this function, but we've got one more to do. We have got public static bool, check file size, string file path, long max size, long min size. The same thing as before, but we're going to check our length is between two values as opposed to just less than or equal to a value. So min size will be the minimum size. Now you might be thinking, whoa Max, don't put that much code on the screen at once. I can't keep up. That's fine, pause the video, but the code's basically the same. We have the same if statement for the file check. If not file exists, file path, return false. We have our try catch statement. We have our return false in the catch. We have our long length equals new system.io.fileinfo file path.length divided by 1024. We have that to get the length in kilobytes. But our return statement is different. Again, If you've watched my range check or length check tutorials, this makes perfect sense, you're going to get deja vu. But if you haven't, that's fine. We're going to return length less than max size and length greater than min size. So, since it's an AND operator, both of these statements need to be true for the code to return a true to where we call the function. If one of these are true but one is false, or both are false, we're going to return a false because we need both to be true for this to be valid. So we're checking that the length is less than the maximum size and the length is greater than the minimum size, so it's within the range of the min length and the max length. And both have to be true for this code to return true. Otherwise it returns false because it's not valid. So save your work, because that's it for this tutorial. But we're going to just show it in action. So in Visual Studio you can right click on your project, go to Open in File Explorer, click on the project folder name, go to bin, go to debug. This is going to be where your code's going to run. It will be different for different IDEs, and obviously you can change the file path to be whatever you want. With that out of the way, let's save our work and hit play. So it says true for checking if mean profile picture .png is less than 300 kilobytes. If we look at the image, as you can see, it's 279 kilobytes. That's less than 300, so it's valid. If we put 250 and hit play, it's false because it's not less than 250 kilobytes. But let's say we want to do a range check between 300 and 250. It returns a true because it's 279 kilobytes, which is between 250 and 300. And that's it for this tutorial. Be sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more C# tutorials that help you get an A in your coursework or exam. Thanks for being a great audience. I'll see you next time.